Well, howdy, folks. My name is Jonas, and today I am going to be speaking to y'all about robot cowboys and how they might be revolutionizing the field of cattle ranching. Now, let's begin with a little intro about cattle ranching for all of you who don't yet know about it. First off, you've got the breeding, and I'm glad to say robots have not yet become involved in that sector. But moving on to milking, robots have been around for decades, and right now 5% of the world's dairy cattle are milked by robots, and that number is only going up and up. Now, you've also got inoculation, a key aspect of cattle ranching, and just recently, a company called Farm Robotics, that's farm with a PH, came out with a cattle vaccinating robot. And then fourth of all, you've got pasturing, and that's what I'd like to describe to you today. So why don't we say good day to Mr. Swagbot, because Swagbot is from Australia. He was created by Mr. Salah Sakaria from the Australian Centre for Field Robotics at the University of Sydney. And you know what? That got me wondering, why is there a Centre for Field Robotics in the first place? So, why don't we hold our horses for a sec on Mr. Swagbot and talk about, first of all, the drop-off in recent decades of skilled manual labor. Now, there is a large population of farmers who are increasing in age, but have no successors because their children are moving on to jobs in the city, jobs in services and technology. The average age of a farmer in Australia is 58. And, of course, that number is also only going up. And so we are seeing fewer and fewer workers who are able to do the challenging tasks associated with cattle ranching. In the meantime, we've been seeing an increase in farm size because as there are fewer farmers, the farms have to create conglomerates and combine with one another. In Australia in particular, where they have so much land, you get farms that are on average 4 times the size of Hong Kong. That's right, four times. And so, as you have fewer and fewer workers, as you have larger and larger farms, you have a worse ratio of farmer to cow. And so, robots step in right as technology costs in the past 10 to 20 years have been plummeting. So now that robots are affordable and workers are not, they have become extremely popular, and only more so every day. So now, let's get back to Mr. Swagbot. What does he do exactly? Well, first of all, he does the herding. Something like a border collie, one of those Australian cattle dogs. He moves the cattle to different areas of the pasture so that they can get fresh grass, which is something that farmers have less and less time to do because they are more and more busy with fewer hands on a given ranch. At the same time, Swagbot operates cattle monitoring, and this is detecting the health through weight, through visual appearance, through discoloration, to check if the cattle are healthy, to see if they're eating properly and getting the nutrients required. And in addition to that, a key aspect is pasture monitoring. Swagbot is not only keeping track of the cattle, it's keeping track of the grass, so that farmers who are not able to spend as much time consistently moving the cattle don't have to do that work of getting the cattle to the healthiest areas of the pasture where the nutrients are most dense. And in addition, a key factor is how Swagbot integrates with the rest of the technological farm. That's right, farms are now seeing technology in all areas. And so Swagbot is able to operate on all terrain. It can go through large puddles, it can go over obstacles, it can also tow particularly hay bales for the cattle to eat, and It integrates with aerial devices. Believe it or not, the fastest growing technology in farming right now are aerial drones that monitor fields, pastures, crops, and so on. So, let's see a little bit of Swagbot in action. And this, what you're seeing right now, keep in mind, is its first ever field test. And on the bottom left, that's what Swagbot is seeing. And on the big screen, that is what the road is seeing. You can see in this first field test, the cows are quite useful, but they do respond to look exactly the way that you would hope from an Australian Let's go ahead and move on to that computer vision aspect that is so critical to the cattle monitoring. There has been a great deal of work by Dr. Sakarie and the teams that he works with into improving the area of computer vision as it relates to animal tracking in particular. They've been using technology such as pseudo-labeling to create more advanced models that are better at tracking these cattle, and they have much improved data sets. You can see right here we've got some examples of cattle images and an old system of tracking the cattle, and Dr. Sakarie has been able to use these research improvements in order to make Swagbot much more reliable in the field. And now, that integration that I talked about. Right here, you can see the camera view of Swagbot traveling along an open path. And ain't that a surprise? I got a real kick in the pants when I saw this for the first time. That is a drone that was mounted on top of Swagbot. And like I said, drones are absolutely critical to a modern farm. Most farmers in developed nations cannot operate their farms without aerial vehicles. And so this integration is absolutely critical. So, let's summarize. Is this good? Is this bad? Well, regardless of what you think, robots on farms are happening. They're projected to have 10 years, in the next 10 years, 600% growth, perhaps even up to 800% by some models. And so, this, of course, is in response to that labor shortage, and it's a solution to it. As there's fewer and fewer workers available, there will be more and more robots. That being said, these are real people who have real jobs, and they're going to be lost over the coming years. Agriculture has been rated as having a 60% automation rate. So these are people who will have to learn new skills or have to move to new industries even. Moreover, farmers today are more technologically dependent than they've ever been. If their drone, if their combine stops functioning, they are absolutely crippled. And this is becoming more and more of an issue as the big agricultural technology companies become more and more dominant. For example, many farmers experience the issue where their new agricultural robots stop functioning, but they are not able to repair it because of protections placed by these large companies. And so they have to wait potentially days in order to operate their farms again. And this is an absolutely critical aspect to understand while moving forward with robots in the field of agriculture. So, I really do appreciate you all coming here to experience this lecture with me today and learn a little bit more about how robots are changing agriculture and cattle ranching in particular as this very insightful case study. So, I thank y'all folks so very dearly. And if you're interested in any of the sources I've referenced, we've got the articles right here about Swagbot and the videos, and there's some real interesting ones in here. And then I can also recommend these other agricultural robots relating to dairy cattle. And then here are some of the statistics that I referenced. And a number of research articles. Like I said, these mostly deal with computer vision, and it truly is fascinating stuff. Now, I once again thank you all so much for your time, and I hope you have an excellent day.